Joining us now is Reverend Anthony Evans, president and founder of the National Black Church Initiative. Welcome to BNC. Could you start by talking about what the National Black Church Initiative is and what is your mission as it relates to R. Kelly?
Yes, we have been around for about 25 years, and we are actually a health initiative. We started off dealing with health issues. We continue to deal with health issues, but that doesn't preclude us to deal with other issues like crime, education, and housing. We deal with any disparity issues that deals with the Black church.
So there have been rumblings in the Black community for years about R. Kelly's alleged sexual misconduct with young girls, specifically young Black girls. Why are you starting this movement now?
Well, our plate is full, as you well know. Right now, we're dealing with COVID. We just held a news conference unveiling our newspaper to encourage African Americans to take the vaccine called Vax News. And now today, we get a chance to focus in on the trafficking that has been engulfing our community for years. This has been an open secret. And all of a sudden, people are saying, if you know of a crime, report it to the police. And if the police don't do anything about it, call the church. The church will force the police to obey the laws in which it's written down in our books. It's simple.
Do you think R. Kelly was taking advantage of these young girls, knowing that they were Black and probably he would get away with it? Because honestly, if it were girls who were not of color, Caucasian girls, this likely would have had a different outcome.
It is no question that racism exists in our community, and there's two levels of justice. And we're going to figure that out when we deal with Elizabeth Holmes in her case. But in terms of R. Kelly, he's been taking advantage of the silence that has been going on in the African American community, and we're going to put an end to that. We're going to call him out, and then we're going to raise an army for Christ of strong Black males who's going to stand up and protect three things: the church, women and children, and also deal with human trafficking for the first time. Again, our plate has been filled. This is something that we should have been on. I apologize to the public that we have not focused on it, but every time we turn for the past 4 years, it has been dealing with the shootings of our young Black males and certainly our young females. And also, we have been dealing with the issue of housing crisis, opioid crisis, you name it. We have been hit with it. Now we hit with a COVID crisis that we successfully, I think, is dealing with that, but we need resources from the administration.
Now, you have said, of course, that the community has been silent. The African American community has been silent. So what is it going to take to get them to come forward and stand up for young girls and young women who are being abused and people know about it? What's it going to take to get them to now speak up, because they have been silent for so many years?
Yeah, well, I think this case will do it. Certainly, we will be coming in force, and you will see African American men dressed in white uniforms in our community over the next coming years, called the Army of Christ. And our central mission is to protect the church, protect women and children, and to deal with human trafficking. We got a whole lot of things to deal with in our community. We need to be about Christ's business, and we need to stop doing the peripheral things. For instance, I'll be the first one to speak out on that. I don't think a minister needs a $70 million jet.
I don't think so either. I don't think most people think that. Thank you for saying that. That's wonderful. When it comes to the church and how it handles the community, can you change the attitudes of the community? Because you're talking about a generational type of response to the way crime is handled and trafficking of young girls is handled, where they may not even view it as trafficking. They may see it as this is something that just happens. How do you actually change the mindset?
No, the church is very clear. We know sin when it happens. And let me be the first to apologize to the public concerning African American ministers who has been caught up in this as well. They are not a part of NBCI. They never will be a part of NBCI. But we will check our community and make sure that our clergy is on the up and up, and also our men in the community is on the up and up. We need to provide our folks with education. We need to provide ourselves with a way out of that human trafficking and to settle lives. Many of young mothers and older grandmothers have come to the church looking for help after being abandoned by the law enforcement community and unable to do anything. You've heard of the parents about R. Kelly. They went to the police, they went to their lawyers, nothing happened. I think we got a solution to that, and we're going to keep it secret until a couple of years, not a couple of years, but a year from now. And we're going to be able to process that information in a way that strong African American men will fulfill its moral commitment of rescuing women and children and keeping our church safe, number one, our women and children safe, and stopping this foolishness and being about the business that we have been set to do. We need to clear our agenda. We do not need to go on holy cruises. It's all right to take a break,
Oh,
but at the same time, we need to be about God's business.
and what about those who continue to listen to R. Kelly's music and support it? Do you think those people should be held responsible for keeping up his status?
But the first people should be held responsible for is his staff. We want everybody connected to his staff to be prosecuted in jail along with him. That's number one. The number two, we want to put an end to his musical endeavor in our community. He's a very talented person. Nobody will dispute his talent. We understand that. But when his talent is coupled with the sins of trafficking our little daughters and our children, then we need to turn away from that. And the Black community, I
What
think, is ready to turn a blind eye to that. Go ahead.
I just had a quick question. What about artist Drake? Because the rapper's come out with a new album. He sampled some of R. Kelly's music. Do you think Drake should then be held responsible for continuing R. Kelly's musical legacy?
Well, you know, just as well as I do, we have in the Black community, we have a very rich musical legend, and sampling has nothing to do with it, with taking on the behavior of the person that you sample. We have a lot of people that we copy that just is immoral. But in this case right here, I believe that let's send a message, Black community, for the next 30 days, not less. Do not download any of R. Kelly music. Do not buy any of his tapes, anything, and send the message to make sure that he can't pay his way out of this one.
All right, Reverend, thank you so much for joining us with your perspective. We appreciate it.